Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we got our first look at the full launch X Factors that will be in NHL 22. That's right, all 50 of them have been released by EA, and we're going to break them all down. If you guys enjoy the content, hit me with a like. It does really help me out with the YouTube algorithm and all that nonsense. And if you're looking for the most up-to-date information on NHL 22 throughout the entire year, make sure you subscribe. All right, guys, let's get into all of the launch X Factors in NHL 22. All right, so we will kick things off with the shooting X Factors that have been announced, and I already see one issue on the website, but we'll talk about that in 1 second. And again, all of this is available at EA.com. I'll put the link down below. We've got Austin Matthews. We all knew what his was going to be. Shock and awe. We saw that in the very first trailer. For anyone that doesn't know, he gets exceptional power and accuracy shooting out of or shortly after a successful deke. So if you if you toe drag with him and then wrist shot right after, he has a boosted attribute for that shot. On Artemi Panarin, he actually has the Make It Snappy X Factor. Again, I've talked about this in most of my NHL 22 videos. That one kind of makes me worried. You get a huge boost to power and accuracy when taking snapshots while skating. So just literally flicking up. So that one is a little bit dangerous. Nikita Kucherov also has Make It Snappy. Again, two of the most dynamic wingers. They have an extremely valuable X Factor, especially early on. Next up, we've got Jake Gensel from the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's got Schneip, which is one of the worst named ones. He gets settle shots more easily and get additional shot accuracy and power on shots after settling. Keep calm and place your shots. So this one, in my opinion, is a little bit less advantageous. Again, it's very situational, and when I do a deep dive early on in NHL 22 about the best ones to go after, Schneip's going to be one that I'm not really big on, just a heads up there. Then we've got Alexander Ovechkin. Obviously, he gets the 1T X Factor, just a huge boost to one-timers. So blast one-timers into the net every time, get a huge boost to power and accuracy on one-time shots, even if the pass from your teammate was less than ideal. Obviously, that one is going to be one of the higher-powered ones. His teammate, John Carlson, has Thunderclap. That's a dope name. They'll hear the buzzer before they even see the puck, get extra power and accuracy on slap shots from the point. So, again, this is early on. Again, I'm going to do a big deep dive on this. Early on, point shots from defensemen are usually very weak. So I actually, again, this is kind of a teaser. I actually think that going full heavy X Factors on defensemen early on could be the play. But again, we'll talk about that as NHL 22 gets a little bit closer. From the Chicago Blackhawks, Alex DeBrincat, he's got Make It Snappy. Again, goes with Kucherov as well as Artemi Panarin for that easy flick-up shot whenever he's coming down the wing. We've got Sidney Crosby with beautiful backhand. Show off your elite skills and get enhanced power and accuracy for all of your backhand shots. Again, that one's a little bit more situational, but it could make him very unique, especially in Hockey Ultimate Team. Then we've got Shea Theodore from the Vegas Golden Knights, Heat Seeker. Again, as I mentioned, I think some of these defensive zone abilities are going to be really valuable early on. Find the Twine with massively increased power and accuracy on wrist shot and snapshots from the point. Get that perfect placement and speed even from a distance. So again, that's going to allow him to get that shot through. Very valuable, especially when goaltender attributes are much lower. Next up, from the Winnipeg Jets, we've got Kyle Connor and the Thunderclap Zone ability. Again, you'll get extra power and accuracy on slap shots from the point when this ability is activated. For forwards, I'm not really sure how relevant this is going to be, unless it's specifically for like power plays, but in my opinion on forwards, just not really something that'd be worth activating over this with a defenseman, in my opinion. Then we've got Mark Scheifele. He has got the Schneip X Factor. Again, that allows him to shoot a little bit better when he's settling pucks from, whether it be a redirect or, a bad pass, that kind of thing. Then we've got Steven Stamkos from the Lightning with the 1T X Factor, and that one is a huge one, like I said, much like Alex Ovechkin. That's going to be very valuable for sure. We've got Mac Daddy Jack Eichel from the Buffalo Sabres temporarily with Make It Snappy. So again, he has that off the wing, just flick up ability to make him extremely dangerous off the wing. Another Make It Snappy zone ability in the Brad Marchand X Factor, so he gets a shooting ability as well off of the wing. Again, it's going to be very interesting to see how powerful this actually is. And I need to make this clear. It's not a wrist shot. So if you tested it out in the beta, if you have the make it snappy zone ability, it's kind of awkward because you can't set up for a wrist shot. You literally just have to flick up. But I think once people adjust to it, it's going to be a very, very good zone ability. His teammate from the Boston Bruins, we've got David Pastrnak, and he has the Schneip zone ability. Again, settling shots and getting additional shot accuracy and power on shots after settling. It's just that one again just seems very, very situational to me. And then lastly, for our shooting X factors, we've got Dougie Hamilton from the New Jersey Devils, ex-Ice Dog. Great. He has got the Heat Seeker, so again, the ability to have power and accuracy on wrist and snapshots from the point. I think that the slap shot ones are obviously going to be more beneficial, but you can do a lot of damage with a wrist shot from the point if you know how to activate it and use it well. All right, on to the skating X factors. These ones all have zone abilities that help with skating. We've got one of the best skaters in the world in Nathan MacKinnon from the Colorado Avalanche. He's got ankle breaker. Deke opponents at top speed without any penalty whatsoever. They'll be watching you fly down the ice before you know they know what hit them. That could be extremely dangerous. I'm not going to lie. The ability to keep your speed while doing dekes could make Nathan MacKinnon one of the better cards in HUT. And I'm not going to lie, if you've been following my channel for quite some time, you know that Nathan MacKinnon cards, in my opinion, just haven't really felt all that great. This could change all of that. Matthew Barzal from the New York Islanders, he gets elite edges, so make tight, seemingly impossible turns anywhere on the ice without sacrificing maneuverability or speed. So again, you enter the zone using some vision control half spins, and you're not losing any speed, especially with the penalty that came from NHL 21 with defensemen when they make their turn, could be devastating. Cale Makar also gets elite edges from the Colorado Avalanche, one of my favorite cards to use last year. And again, that makes him super valuable when working the offensive zone. And honestly, the ability to carry the puck out of the zone and into the offensive zone is going to be real prevalent with him having elite edges. Next, we've got Brayden Point from the Tampa Bay Lightning. He has got the wheels zone ability. And obviously, this is going to be the one everyone chases. Beat anyone, anytime with the puck. You won't get any agility, speed, or acceleration penalties when skating with the puck. Have one of the best zone abilities, and obviously it is going to be the one everyone chases. The fact that he doesn't get any penalties at any time when skating with the puck, just such an advantage early on in the game. So like I said, Connor McDavid also having the wheel zone ability, obviously the best player in the world. Getting the best synergy is a no-brainer here. He is going to be absolutely lights out with that wheel zone ability, and it's going to make him awfully tough to stop if your opponent has that Connor McDavid. And early on, like I said, it is going to be devastating to go up against in someone that's going to have a lot of value, obviously, in HUT. And then lastly, we've got Chris Letang. He's got the in-reverse zone ability. You'll be as good skating backwards or any other direction as you are at skating forwards with this ability. And you can switch to back skating on a dime without any penalty to speed or acceleration. Again, that is such an advantage when trying to defend. You got to think back to NHL 21. The penalty that you received when your defenseman turned around to start skating backwards or skating to chase the puck was pretty significant, and it allowed that meta of skating right down the boards in NHL 21. This in-reverse zone ability eliminates that penalty. Huge advantage, and again, it'll be very interesting. I think the defensemen have the best zone abilities and impact on the game, again, just early on. All right, moving on to the Hockey IQ zone abilities. We've got Patrick Kane with puck on a string. This one allows him to be a magician with the puck thanks to lightning quick stick handling moves and toe drags. Now they see the puck, now they don't. Again, I think this one is going to be super situational. Again, deking and making a lot of moves. Again, just the meta of the game. Not something you see a lot of, and it's going to be very specific, so I'm not a huge fan of this one, but nonetheless, obviously, Patrick Kane getting this makes total sense. We've got Seth Jones with the quick pick zone ability. We've seen this one as well. Snatch the puck from anyone in the blink of an eye. Increase puck interception rate and range. This one is going to be super valuable. Again, the ability to intercept passes and not, nullify the one-timer in the slot. Again, another huge win for the defenseman in NHL 22. You've got Alexander Barkov from the Florida Panthers. He's got all alone. You might the description is you might be on an island, but you still got moves. Get increased accuracy and power on your penalty shots and breakaways. Again, I think it's cool, but it is so situational. Not one that I'm going to chase early on. And Alexander Barkov still, though, one of the best players in the game. But honestly, one of the slower ones as well when you think of the top-end guys. So just an odd choice for him there. You've got Joe Pavelski, Little Joe, my man from the Dallas Stars. He has got big tipper, and this one I think could be pretty useful, especially early on in the game before goaltenders get their higher attributes. Knock even the most accurate shots away from your goal with improved deflection range, accuracy, and speed. This also applies to, obviously tipping pucks into the net. So again, on centerman, it is very valuable. They sit in front of the net, and you can just risk things through, especially if you have a defenseman, let's say Heat Seeker, that has that increased wrist shot ability. Big tipper could be pretty useful. Next up, we've got Matthew Tkachuk, and one of the more unique zone abilities in the game with It's Tricky. You've got more than a few tricks up your sleeves, or what if you're not wearing sleeves? With this ability at the ready, you get a much higher success rate with trick deeks while also boosting your shooting accuracy immediately afterwards. This is very, very similar to Austin Matthews' Shock and Awe, but I believe this is more pertaining to like the between the legs stuff, obviously, as opposed to like the toe drags and windmill deeks. Still super situational, and Matthew Tkachuk becoming one of the X Factors, but not really one that's going to be all that sought after. From the St. Louis Blues, we've got Ryan O'Reilly and his quick draw zone ability. You gain a high success rate on faceoffs with extra quickness on faceoff draws, increased effectiveness on tie-up wins, and a big advantage in defensive zone draws. This makes Ryan O'Reilly one of the most important players on the third and fourth line of your HUT team. The ability to win on the penalty kill or defensive zone draws, especially if you do a tie-up, and that gives you a gigantic advantage of winning. Just such an advantage, especially early on when faceoff ratings aren't all that high. We've got our next Colorado Avalanche in Gabriel Landeskog. He's got Crease Crasher, turn any opponent into a chance at glory with this uncanny ability to corral bouncing pucks and get a boost to accuracy after collecting them. Again, super specific. You would have to just be shooting for rebounds with this card specifically, but again, Gabriel Landeskog obviously worthy of getting an X Factor. And then lastly, we've got Anze Kopitar with the quick pick zone ability. So much like Seth Jones, he's got the ability to snatch the puck from anyone in a blink of an eye, increase puck interception rate and range for one of the best defensive forwards in the NHL. Up next, we have got the passing zone abilities. We'll start first with Leon Draisaitl. We've seen this one already early on, the tape-to-tape zone ability, the handy ability to auto-saucer and get increased backhand accuracy and reduce power penalties on passes within your vision. See everything and be ready for everything. Again, this allows the ability to auto-sauce. That is now no longer in the game unless you have that X-Factor ability of tape-to-tape. Next up, we've got Adam Fox from the New York Rangers, and he is going to have the tape-to-tape zone ability. So again, it allows you to auto-saucer out of the defensive zone. I'm curious to see how the differences are going to play out between tape-to-tape defenders and the send-it defenders like Roman Josi, because those are auto-saucers from a great distance. So I think that, obviously from the back end, you're going to want to use those off the boards a little bit more than what would happen with tape-to-tape. But again, I'm not sure how those are going to play out differently, but just something to think about. Then we've got Fox's teammate, Mika Zibanejad from the New York Rangers with the magnetic zone ability. Make that loose puck yours with this brilliant ability to pick them up with speed as well as corral bouncing or rolling pucks and snatch up poor passes. Now, again, that's going to be extremely specific. We're going to have to see how that plays out in-game, to be honest, because it just sounds like he's getting a boost in offensive awareness, and in all honesty, that's not a huge advantage in-game, but nonetheless, Zibanejad getting one of the X-Factor cards early on. From the Colorado Avalanche, Mikko Rantanen getting the tape-to-tape zone ability. And again, just like Draisaitl, I think this zone ability is going to be pretty prevalent, especially early on while the user base gets used to the new meta and passing obviously having a skill gap in NHL 22. The removal of auto sauce will be much more noticed than when it was actually put into the game, because when the CPU no longer does it for you, or when you actually pass and it no longer actually activates, I think you'll notice it, and having one of these these tape-to-tape zone ability players might be a pretty big advantage for you. We've got our next tape-to-tape passer in the Minnesota Wild's rookie phenom in Kirill Kaprizov. Honestly, I'm excited to see that he was included among the top 50 players, or at least the top 50 players for the X-Factor portion of the game. Great to see him get his recognition. He's going to have tape-to-tape. I kind of want him to have a shooting zone ability, but nonetheless, tape-to-tape still an effective one early on. Next up, from the Carolina Hurricanes, we've got Sebastian Aho and his third eye ability. The third eye ability, when you use it, you're able to hit seemingly impossible passes to teammates outside of your field of vision. So this could be like a pass when you're holding on the backhand and you pass behind your back when you're kind of switching and resetting to the neutral zone. As in NHL 22, if you played the beta, you notice those passes are much more difficult to hit because they're not really common and able to be done in the real game. So this could be a low-key nice passing zone ability for sure on Sebastian Aho. Next up, we've got Mitch Marner, who also has the third eye zone ability from the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's going to be able to make those difficult passes like I mentioned with Aho. I will say this, Marner cards have never really been my thing, but I think if this third eye ability is as useful as I kind of have a feeling it might be a good opportunity to get on Mitch Marner cards. Next, we've got from the Florida Panthers, Jonathan Huberdeau, who's got the tape-to-tape zone ability. Again, much like Rantanen and Leon Draisaitl, that ability to auto-saucer and kind of fit passes through tight windows now, with interceptions being so prevalent in 22. Again, a very, very nice thing to have, no doubt. From the Vancouver Canucks, we've got Elias Pettersson and his third eye zone ability. So Pettersson getting a zone X-Factor card here. It'll be interesting to see, again, another player, much like Mitch Marner, taller but kind of slender. I've had a really hard time using these cards, but the shiftiness and ability to make really tough passes could be of big benefit. And then lastly, from the Nashville Predators, we've got Roman Josi and his Send It zone ability. You pull the strings from anywhere on the ice by getting a huge increase to pass assist and the ability to auto-saucer along long distances. So if you are someone who likes to fire it out of the defensive zone as opposed to carrying it out, this could be a zone ability you might want to go after. Now let's discuss the Defender Zone X-Factors. We'll kick things off with Victor Hedman, another Tampa Bay Lightning player, getting an X-Factor card. He's got Stick 'em Up. You are a master of the ancient art of defensive stick handling. Get a much higher success rate with the defensive skill stick, even against momentum or at speed. This one will be huge because, again, with the stick being a new layer in game, separate of the actual player animation, having the ability to have a really high success rate when hitting R1 to poke the puck away and not take a penalty is going to be a huge advantage, especially on someone as big as Victor Hedman. Following him, we've got from the Vegas Golden Knights, Mark Stone, one of the best defensive forwards in the NHL. He's got the Yoink zone ability, snatch the puck away with a higher stick lift success rate and leave them hanging while they take longer than usual to recover from your trickery. So this could be, and again, it's a little bit tough on the description, but I believe if you do the stick lift animation in the slot, when you're defending, I think it's going to make them get stuck in that animation a little bit longer, which obviously has its uses, but this is one, in my opinion, that's is going to be way too situational. But again, I think defensive zone abilities are going to be very, very important, so we'll have to see on this one. Following him, we've got Patrice Bergeron from the Boston Bruins with the Yoink zone ability as well. This is honestly one I would have liked to see get the quick draw ability that Ryan O'Reilly has. Bergeron's so good on the face-offs in the real game, and I would love to see him get that. Ryan O'Reilly is really the only one that has that ability on face-offs, so it would have been nice to see Patrice Bergeron, especially in HUT, because Bergeron is one of the most sought-after cards early on. So he's going to get that stick lift ability, which is not nearly as effective, in my opinion, as the face-off one. From the Philadelphia Flyers, we've got Sean Couturier. He has got the stick 'em up zone ability, just like Victor Hedman, so he is going to have that ability to really make those good poke checks with a higher accuracy and quickness to it. So when you hit R1, it is going to track the puck a lot better. Again, I think this is going to be one of the more underrated ones early on in the game. Another Vegas Golden Knight with Alex Pietrangelo getting the shutdown zone ability. Take on anyone, anywhere, as you get a huge boost to your defensive abilities when taking on the puck carrier one-on-one. These ones kind of scare me because what if it's a one-on-one, but there's someone slightly trailing and it might deem that it's a two-on-one kind of situation. But if it reads out correctly and you're just taking on the puck carrier, the defensive, you're getting your defensive awareness a big boost, stick checking, all of that. This could be one of the better defensive ones because while stick 'em up is great at all times, the one-on-one trying to defend the blue line is going to be huge, again, especially for defensemen. So Alex Pietrangelo getting the shutdown zone ability. And the last defender X-Factor we've got from the Carolina Hurricanes, Jacob Slavin. He is also getting that shutdown zone ability, so going to have a really tough time one-on-one when you're going up against Jacob Slavin in Hockey Ultimate Team. And then lastly, on to the goaltenders, the goaltending abilities. We will kick things off with Andrei Vasilevskiy and his contortionist ability. So the contortion ability states twist around to make clutch stops seemingly impossible for most humans. When a goalie activates this ability, he gets increased save range, recovery, and ability while in the spread V or with or against momentum. So two-on-ones, those kinds of things. He's going to be able to bend around and make some incredible saves for you with the Vasilevskiy card. Next, we've got from the Chicago Blackhawks, the all-or-nothing Marc-Andre Fleury. So, you take away your opponent's chance to shoot before they even think about it with a high success rate, including range, accuracy, and recovery at poke checks in front of the goal. This one, in my opinion, is the least useful. It is super situational. And this is not going to be one that's going to be very sought after, but nonetheless, Marc-Andre Fleury getting the zone ability X Factor. Then we've got playoff hero Carey Price. He is going to get the post-to-post zone ability, really resurrecting his career with that playoff run this year to the Stanley Cup final. Make elite post-to-post saves that most goalies can only dream of doing. Get an impressive boost to reaction time, recovery, and save ability when going post-to-post. This one, I think, is going to have the potential to be the most overpowered zone ability if it is as accurate as it states here, because obviously a goaltender that can make unbelievable one-timer saves by going post-to-post is of huge advantage, and Carey Price is always a good goalie that plays above his stats in game. This is one of the most interesting ones in my opinion. And then lastly, we've got Connor Hellebuyck from the Winnipeg Jets. He has got the dialed-in zone ability. So when you're dialed in, it feels like nobody can stop you. After making 15 saves in-game, this ability activates and heavily boosts goalie reaction time, recovery, and save ability for the rest of the game. So this is, I believe, the only zone ability that has a prerequisite to activate. Now, 15 shots, that's an awful lot if you're playing against the more skilled players. Obviously, skilled players, they wait for their opportunities. 15 shots is quite a bit in a normal HUT game, but if you are in the lower divisions, I think this could be one of the better ones, as the lower players, they usually just take a lot of shots, and this could be pretty big. But the post-to-post one definitely seems like the most effective. So guys, there are all 50 of your launch day NHL 22 X-Factor players in Hockey Ultimate Team. Let me know if you agree or disagree with some of them down below. I do need to mention, obviously, there are some teams missing. In fact, 7 of them did not receive an X-Factor player at launch. The Anaheim Ducks, the Arizona Coyotes, the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Detroit Red Wings, the Ottawa Senators, my San Jose Sharks, and the Seattle Kraken. Now, it would have been nice, I think, to have at least one representative from every team, but I'm not totally upset about it. I mean, from my Sharks, I really don't know which player would have been considered among the best for some of these. Maybe Brent Burns and that wrist shot zone ability from the point, because he still has one of the best in the world at that. Outside of that, I really don't disagree with none of them being selected. Tough times as a Sharks fan. Ugh. Alright guys, that is going to do it. Please give the video a like if you did enjoy, and subscribe for the most up-to-date NHL 22 content. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.